Hey, what is up, people? This is your homeboy Killer Shrub here, back at it again with another video. I'm strafing off the beaten path today, and instead of doing one of my old, like commentary videos and whatnot, I've decided to do a story time video because I haven't done one in a while. And plus, also 2020 has been a funky year, so I got a couple more stories planned besides this one I'm about to talk about, right? But basically, the story is about when I went camping back in May. That kind of ended disastrously, but it was also pretty fun. So yeah, let's just get right into this. So the story basically, like I said, began in May, right? And so a week before we left, Carson invited me to go camping, right? And I was like, hell yeah, dude, I'm totally down to do this shit. Especially considering the fact that this was May, right? Like, schools have been shut down for like 2 months at this point. We were doing online classes and everything. And I was like, dude, this shit's fucking homo. I don't want to be going and joining my teacher's Zoom call. Like, bro, I got better things to do, right? But, anyways, though, yeah, Carson invited me out, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I'd rather be going and doing this shit, instead of online classes, right? So he's like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a deal. So a week later, Carson picks me up, and he picks up Lane and Trice, who are another couple friends of mine that also went on this camping trip. Everybody got picked up. Everybody had all their stuff together. We threw in some scrap wood to use for fire and everything, right? And we went over to Albertsons, got our hot dogs, hamburgers, the buns, chips, all that snacky stuff, right? Um, and when we got to the camping spot, which took about 2 hours, because it was like over past headquarters, right? Like a little bit past headquarters, which is in Idaho. Um, it took us a little bit to get to there, but when we did, oh my god, the place was so cool. It had this like shed that was there, and it looked like it's some dude's like house, right? Because it was like a one room kind of a thing, but there was like a hole in the ceiling, right? And I believe what was supposed to go down is that you would put in a fireplace and you'd stick the hose or whatever it was through the the ceiling, right, to go and let all the smoke out and everything. But it was seriously awesome, and there was a bunch of firewood in there too, so it was like unexpected, but it was still really nice, that it was in there. So I was like, oh yeah, yeah, baby. So once we got everything all set up and everything, basically nothing happened. I mean, we just relaxed and talked with each other for a little bit. Then like I'm saying, nothing really happened on the first day. It was when nighttime came that shit went down. Like, let me tell you, I underestimated the cold a little bit because I didn't bring any like fucking like sleeping bags or anything. Like, I brought a cot with me, which thank God I did, because like later down the road it was, oh god, it was such a nice thing to have. Like, yeah, I'll get to the point, but I brought a cot, and I brought like a freaking like winter coat with the fur around the hood. Got a balaclava, Ushanka, looking like some SAS operative kind of, But that's literally all I brought, and I had my backpack and everything, had some boots, a pair of pants, jeans and all that shit, right? But I never brought with me a sleeping bag, so I was fucking freezing my ass off, right? Which made sense because, I didn't bring a sleeping bag. I mean, I brought like blankets, right? But I didn't bring a sleeping bag into you, right? But then, next thing Lane and Trice and Carson are freezing their asses off, and they're in sleeping bags and shit. It's like, bro, like, okay. So Lane decided to take up the mantle of responsibility and decided to get a fire going, right? And we were all just sitting there, freezing our asses off, shaking shit, waiting for him to get the fire started. But oh my god, when he did, it was like the best thing ever. Because once he got that set up, man, we were warm, man. We were so fucking thankful. But basically, all we did that night after that happened is we basically just talked with each other, talked about everything going on in our lives, all that stuff, right? And when the sun started shining, that's when we heard wolves calling, and like Lane freaked out. He was like, "Oh my god, dude, all those wolves!" Like, oh fuck. And we were like telling him like, "Bro, you don't need to freak out, especially considering the fact that like we've been pissing around the campsite a bunch, so it's like a wolf's gonna come by." Like, nah, man. If you know how wolves are, like they know about marking territories and shit. And all you have to do is piss on a tree and you're just fine, right? But we ended up going to sleep around, I think, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning when the sun was shining out, so we got a little bit of heat going, and all that stuff. And that's basically how the schedule went. Like, we didn't sleep during the night. We slept during the day, basically, right? And we slept from, like, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock to, like, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But, yeah, like I was saying, nothing really major happened the first day. Obviously that whole thing happened that night, which was very funky. The next 2 days, nothing too major happened as well. I know Carson brought a 22 pistol. I do remember that. And what's funny about this whole thing is that I had a UNSC ammo can, right, that Carson gave me from a loot crate like a couple years back. And I filled that up with like 222 bullets I found in a drawer because I was living out the camper at this time that we have. And oh my god, dude, living out of the camper was actually very fun. Like, let me tell you, that was some very magical shit. But I lived out of the camp around that time so I can get away from everybody, right? Get some, peace and quiet and all that shit. But when I was going through my drawers to put clothes away, next thing you know, I opened up this drawer and there's like a fuck ton of goddamn 22 bullets. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, what the crap is up with this? I'm like, okay. But anyways, though, I filled up the ammo can with like 222 bullets because I didn't know how much Carson was going to bring. I was thinking he was going to bring at least like 200, 300 around that. So I was like, okay, quite a fucking bit. Like 200's already a lot, right? But when we got to the spot on the first day, Carson whips out this fucking Pringles can, except it's not a Pringles can. It had a bunch of 22 bullets, but it looked like a beefed up Pringles can, right? With like a metallic lid and shit. But I look at the thing, and it says that the capacity inside of it was like 600 bullets. Like, holy shit. Talk about fucking overkill. Like, theoretically, you could kill 800 squirrels. It's fucking crazy. But, like, the second and third day, because we had so much ammo, we decided to shoot a 22 pistol a lot. Did some target practice with stuff we found around the campsite and everything. Bunch of bottles and stuff, some soda cans. But, and we were also going to get squirrels. I forgot to mention that. But we were also going to kill some squirrels and get some squirrel meat. Carson's already had squirrel before, but I never had. And I'm saddened because I never got to eat squirrel. But then a friend of mine, his name's Owen, by the way, he told me about the camping trip he went on with Carson, Lane, and Trice a month later, like June, July, around that. And he told me they actually killed a squirrel and ate it. I'm like, dude, I'm so fucking jealous. Like, god damn it. But yeah, he ended up killing a squirrel, and I'm still jealous about this to this day. But yeah, like I'm saying, nothing major happened the next 2 days. Stayed up the entire night again. And and I forgot to mention actually. Lane brought he brought a Bluetooth speaker, right? And he's a big thrash metal fan, which is great because all of us, when we went on the camping trip, we all love, thrash metal from like the 80s and 90s shit like Pantera and Metallica, right? But he played so much Pantera that there was this one song that popped up like 7 times, and I forgot what the name of the song was, but there was a song that popped up like 7 times. We're like, okay, Lane, you can cut it out now, right? But anyways, though, we listened to a bunch of, like thrash metal and everything for the nights and everything like that. Like when the sun went down, we got the MP4, all that shit, Lane's iPod. We had the Bluetooth speaker blasting. We had burgers and hot dogs and shit, and fuck, it was so fun. Now, the last day, this is when shit got interesting because we decided to go to the river, right? And we were going to go and, just hang out at the river. And I think Lane wanted to do some magnet fishing, which if you don't know what it is, it sounds pretty simple, but I'll explain it anyways. You basically take a line, right, of like fishing wire, and then you attach a magnet to the end, and then you toss into like a body of water, like a pond or like a river, right? And you basically skim, along this, the bottom, and you basically, bring up metallic objects like fishing hooks, bullet casings, that sort of stuff, right? And for some reason, Lane and Carson decided to jump in. And I know I said May, right? And down over in Clarkston, Lewiston, the LC Valley, it gets pretty decently warm in May, around like 80 degrees around that most of the time. But over in headquarters, since we're up in the mountains, way up, right? The fucking river was like freezing as hell. And so Carson and Lane jump in with only their fucking underwear. And they jump in, and all I hear just oh fuck, oh shit, my bad. But wow, okay. I was not expecting to do that. But anyways, like I was saying, but they fucking jump in for some reason. They come out and they're like fucking pink all over and shit, freezing and stuff. I'm like, bruh, okay. And when they got out, this is when a thunderstorm started to roll through. So we're like, okay, maybe we should get out of here, right? So we get our asses into the truck. And for some reason, Lane took his sweet ass time, like 5 minutes or something, getting his shit. I'm like, bro, Lane, what is taking you so long? You only brought your fucking clothes and your freaking, magnet fishing thingy, right? Like, bro, what is taking you so long? But we got out of there. The thunder started rolling quite a bit. But we got to our campsite and it was just fine. And on the way there, me and Lane were contemplating. We were wondering if we should just leave, right? If we should just leave, with this thunderstorm going on, and just leave and just get home by nighttime, right? But then Carson was like, nah, we should just stay because, I mean, we're only going to be here for one more night. So we might as well just stay for the night, right? So it's like, okay, that sounds fair enough. So we get to, back to the camping spot, right? We get all of our stuff put away, inside the tent that we need to put away, the wet shit and everything. We got around the fire. And that night, I don't know if there was something cursed or something, but like I said before, when we were getting stuff for target practice with the 22, I managed to find this like PVC pipe that was like huge as hell. Like, I mean, I could literally use it as like a warhammer if I felt like it, right? And I'll put it on screen now. And if you see Nordic words on it, it stands for pipe of rain, and I'll explain that in a second. When I mean this pipe is cursed, I mean it's cursed to the point to where that night, after the music stopped playing, which was a fucking miracle, by the way, like, Carson's phone took up the mantle after Lane's iPod died, and he only had like 5% battery or something, like 7%, and it lasted like 4 hours, right? So we got to continue listening to fucking like Pantera, Metallica, and a bunch of other stuff, Daft Punk too, right? But after the music died down, everybody decided to go into the tent and everything like that, right? And I decided to go and play on my pipe, just bop on it, make some sounds. And I decided to play some music on it. And after I, like, played music on it, that's when the thunderstorm passed over us, and it started, like, pouring rain. It was, like, a crazy amount of how much it was pouring, right? But I guess Lane's tent, he says it's fine, quote-unquote. Like, there's no problems with it. But there ended up, like, water being dripped down into the tent, like, 7, like, holes worth, right? And Lane's like, oh, it's just fine. My tent's, like, not built for, like, heavy rain and stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, right? But anyways, Lane, Trice, and Carson decided to go and leave, and they decided to go into Carson's truck to go and, stay warm and sleep there for the night, get away from the rain. And I decided to stay in the tent because for one, I was on a cot, so I was elevated. So the, water on the ground wasn't a problem. I had like one drop on me, but it was on my blankets. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world, right? But when I woke up the next morning, dead ass, the water got so bad in the tent, it looked like a fucking pond. It was terrible. But, yeah, my fucking morning got hella ruined. Like, I barely slept for one, because it was fucking freezing. And two, when I did wake up, my fucking foot was in this goddamn puddle, and it was freezing. And I was like, okay, fuck this shit. So I threw on my boots, walked out. And Carson, Lee, and Trice, they were still asleep at this point. So I went into the shed that I said earlier, right? And I decided to go and wait out the storm in there. And it'd been like an hour or two, and the storm was not gonna let up, right? So when Carson finally woke up, I was like, dude, thank fucking God, let's get the hell out of here. And so we decided, instead of waiting out the storm, which could last either an hour or could last literally the entire day, like, it was continuously going for like 12 hours at that point. So it's like, fuck it, we might as well just get out of here. Who cares if the shit's drenched? It's gonna stay drenched anyways, no matter how long this is gonna last, right? So we packed everything up into the back of the truck, got that tent taken down, which was fucking painful, because not only was the tent drenched as fuck, but we were drenched as hell too, because of all the rain pouring down. But we got the trench put away, my apologies, I meant the tent, but we got the tent put away, right? And we got the fuck out of there. We're like, yeah, screw this shit. But on the way out, Carson was telling me that when they went to sleep, they, for some fucking reason, forgot to go and open up a window. So when Carson woke up, barely able to breathe, all he hears is just, like, Trice in the fucking back seat, just... And Carson realized, oh, fuck, we've got to roll down the window, right? So then that's when he got the window rolled down. They were just fine. But after we got out of there, I don't remember which town we stopped in. We stopped in one of these towns. I forgot what it was called. But we ended up getting food. And like I was saying, because it was May, we couldn't go in, right? So we had to go and call in our order. They'd come out, we'd pay them, and we'd be just fine, right? But yeah, we ended up getting food. And oh, fuck, God, that was so nice. Let me tell you, it was so nice getting all that food. Like, fuck. But anyways, when we finally got home, everybody's shit was fucking drenched. We didn't give a shit. We just, unpacked everything from everybody. And when it finally it came time for me to go home, I got all my shit out of back Carson's truck, said our goodbyes and everything. And then I put all my stuff that was drenched into the living room section of my camper, and I just let it, like, sit and dry out and everything. But oh my God, dude, going to sleep that night was fucking great. Like, being in a warm-ass bed, had my music playing, had my Xbox on and shit. Fuck, I felt so goddamn nice. God, it was such a good night. I've never had better sleep than that fucking night, let me tell you. But that was pretty much the end of the video. All that really happened is we went on a camping trip. Basically got rained on like a fuck ton. It got like soaking wet and cold and shit. Pipe might be cursed and all that shit. So that's pretty much on the story time video. I just want to say one more thing. Well, I said that 2020 has been kind of a funky year. I mean, it's been kind of funky because I've had a couple events go down that, like I said, are worthy of a story time, right? But basically, I have a couple things I want to bring up. Like the first time I hit a dab pen, the first time I smoked weed, and a lockdown that happened at our school that was even better than the last one that happened back in like I think 2015, 2016. I already made a story time video about that, but these are some story times I want to go and talk about at some point, hopefully soon, but I'll just have to wait and see. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was entertaining, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.